Hell to the yeah.
Here we go. Going live in 3, 2, 1. And here we are. The first ever episode of Picked Off After Dark. By default, it wasn't intentional, but we get to try it out in the evening time, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Hell yeah.
All right. We got a good show for you guys this evening. Sorry about the, we'll call it crude announcement this morning. For those of you who watched the announcement, I played a little troll type joke on the Picked Off fans, so...
People thought I was dead.
Everybody thought Carter was dead.
Very morbid.
It is popping in the comments already.
All right. That's what I like to see. Andrew Frizzle, Christy Hardy, Charlie Elrod over in the Facebook watching already.
We got in YouTubes, we got Pigskin Pete over there from Howard's Rock, part of the Volunteer Rod Show family. We got BVD, of course. What's up, Pops? Dwayne RTR, Hoss 407. We got Cody Branch, Matt Dummett, sorry. We also got Glitter Gator loves BVD. It needs to say BVD and ACP. But NASCAR Vol, of course, is always here. And Atypical Gump in the house.
Darlene Barnes Jones in Facebook says, hey, Carter's going to be watching the YouTube chat tonight. I'm going to be watching Facebook. Got a little bit of a different setup here than we normally have, since we're joined by a very special guest. You know him as D4, Mr. Brandon Ivy. Brandon, how you doing this evening?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, sir. Doing pretty good. I'm picking up a little bit of a feedback. I guess it's like an echo back on my... Brandon, you might need to turn your volume down on your phone a little bit, or your whatever camera you're using there. Just a little bit. Just enough where it's not picking itself up.
Hashtag professional.
There we go. I think we're in good shape now. All right, Mr. Brandon, tell everybody about what you do, who you are, where they can find you on Facebook and YouTube.
Well, we're going to be starting a show called Friday Night Behind the Lights. It's going to cover high school sports across the state of Tennessee, mainly football. Carter, BBD, myself, we're going to be going to games, picking top 10s, the whole 9 yards, but we're going to be everything high school football.
Sounds exciting.
You can find it on Twitter. We're just now launching everything, and we're really excited about it.
I got the west side.
Yeah, Carter's got the west side.
Carter's covering the west side of the state, huh?
Yeah.
Carter, you might have to move to your right a little bit. You're getting over there on the left, and it's blocking that beautiful, beautiful face that we all enjoy looking at.
Well, I'm just trying to, west side.
Mr. Brandon, you do a little something else too, don't you?
I used to.
You used to. Tell the folks at home what you used to do.
I used to fight a little bit.
You used to fight a little bit.
Did you? I used to kick some ass.
Could you say you fought professionally?
Semi.
Yeah. We've got a little video that we dug up on the YouTube, or as Catfish would say, the YouTubes.
The YouTubes.
Before we show the folks at home that video, Michael D. Tarleton says, "Hey guys, Brent Phillips, hello from Wilmington, North Carolina. Hey Brent's a good buddy of mine. Appreciate you dropping in tonight, buddy. Keep that chat thread churning there in Facebook for me, Brent. Because as you all know, here on the Picked Off, top comment of the show is going to win that coveted Golden Keyboard Award. And the Golden Keyboard is your ticket to a prize pack of some kind that Carter's going to get your information and send you something. Did those 8x10s of you in the checkerboard Speedo ever come in, Carter?
I'm waiting on Balfour to send them to me. Okay, this is high quality pictures. All right. I mean, they got the zits, taken away. I mean, all the blemishes. I mean, it's a bloody masterpiece. I tell you what.
Those things, they must have sent them snail mail because they've been coming since we started this gig.
Hey, you can't rush excellence. Okay.
All right, guys. Here's what Brandon does. Watch this. I think you're gonna enjoy it. Let's see here.
And yes, I'm happy glitter.
Let's see here. Brandon, where you at? All right. Check this stuff out.
Are you ready? Let's go!
That's Brandon without the shirt on. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Did they call that fight that quick?
He verbally quit.
Oh gosh. That's we'll say that puts a dent in the old manhood.
Yeah, that's back when I wasn't so old and could actually get out and do it.
All right. We got an action-packed show, as I said before, for you guys tonight.
Real quick, Glitter Gator, you're still waiting. I apologize. I've had so many people. I've been trying. I tell you what, if you could get, maybe BVD can send you my info, or find me on Facebook at John Alexander Carter. Send me a friend request if we're not already friends, and I'll get you taken care of.
All right, y'all. Carter, are y'all telling me that Carter's a little slow on the prize closet there?
Oh, man.
Guys, we hired him for his beautiful face and his incredible talent, not for his organizational skills or his responsibility.
I got clean shaven, and I sent the scraps to Carter so he could have a little bit.
That's all right, brother. I'll return the favor. Give you some minutes.
All right, so we're going to introduce a new segment tonight called Debate Club. Let's see. We let the guests pick the topic, and we got a good topic for you. We're going to be debating later on in the show the #1 college football program of all time. And so we expect you guys to be giving us your feedback in the chat, and we'll be giving you our opinions here on the show. Pretty excited about that. That was the brainchild of Mr. Brandon. Let's see. We got a little bit of current events. We got some Vol history. Brandon's going to grind his gears tonight instead of Carter.
I need a break.
And let's see. We're going to do our top 5 SEC games of 2020. We've got a whack-ass tradition for you. General Nealon's 7 memes, as per usual. We couldn't leave those out of the Picked Off After Dark. Dumpster fire of the day, and we're going to close her out with a salute to the ladies of the SEC. So I'm pumped up. You guys ready to get this show on the road?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sorry about me moving around so much. My damn ashtray's on fire. Apologize about that.
That's what you get for smoking during the show, you unprofessional friend of mine.
Hey, you better watch it, pal.
All right, let's start it off with some current events. Carter, do you want to tell us, or Brandon? I know one of you guys got the skinny on this. Coach Doug's back in the Natty.
Oh, and I tell you what, man, he better not. He's playing a computer, dude. I mean, come on. You're going to lose to the computer? I think he's doing it on purpose. And you know what? He better not let me down, because I just bought a damn Coach Doug shirt. And I tell you what, he better not let me down.
Listen, I'm excited. If we had an actual coach that came to Tennessee and took them to back-to-back natties, even if they lost both of them, I'd be pretty stoked about the direction of the program. But in the video game world, you go to 2 natties and you lose, buddy, you're out. Move along, Coach Doug's. It's time for somebody else to take the wheel.
If he loses against a computer, that is terrible.
Who's he
He's
playing?
already lost twice.
Who's he
He's
playing?
playing the U.
The
Playing
U. That's right, Miami.
In the Fiesta Bowl.
Wow.
And yes, Glitter, we are doing your top 5 like you suggested.
All right, we got Matthew Cheek, Dave Long. Oh, let's see. Matthew Cheek's in there tagging him up. Hey, Catfish, when is Tennessee going to change the name of their band? Catfish ain't on this program, but we'll definitely pass that question along to him, and he can answer you on his show.
Yeah,
he's on here sometimes. I don't mean to dismiss that question, but I'm just saying he's not on tonight, so we can't get the answer to that for you.
BVD says, "Oh yeah, smoking on camera is bad, but drinking alcohol is not." Yeah, got you.
Hey,
I think that was directed towards you there, Mister Griffin.
Nobody ever got lung cancer from a Corona. All right. So let's see here. What do we want to start it off with? Let's say we're talking current events. Coach Doug's back in the Natty. Anything else? What are we predicting? Are we predicting he wins?
Texas has 13 players that tested positive for COVID 4 days after they started their voluntary workouts.
Oh, that's right. For those of you that don't know, D4 is a Longhorns fan. Don't worry, we thoroughly screened him before we allowed him on the show. So we don't expect any shenanigans, but I can make no promises because background checks only go so far. Let's see. Yeah, but I mean, before we dig into the Longhorns and their COVID practices, let's make a prediction, a score prediction on the Natty against Miami.
Oh, I believe in Doug's. Even though our starting QB Burgerton's out, we're gonna win. We've always done well against Miami, so I'm gonna say, and they don't do well in the Fiesta Bowl. We all know that. I'm gonna say Tennessee 31, Miami 20.
When Tennessee won in '98, were they or were they not at the Fiesta Bowl?
Yes.
I'm predicting the W. I'm going 35-17 Tennessee over Miami.
Well, technically it was January 4th, 99, but that's
42-35 Tennessee.
Think it's going to be a shootout, huh?
Yeah, I don't believe in Coach Doug's.
Oh, man.
All right. Hey, you're entitled to your opinion. We don't have to like it. All right, let's see. What else is going on in current events? Oh, that's right. Got a bunch of dirty horns over there. 14, you said 14 players. 14 players tested positive?
13.
13 players tested positive.
13.
I'm sure the 14th is coming.
Oh, I guarantee it.
So tell us a little bit about that. I kind of missed it the first go around.
Oh, it just said Adam Schefter put out that today they released that 13 Longhorns players tested positive for COVID-19 4 days after starting their voluntary workouts.
Okay. That's a sad affair. And we talked about this a couple episodes ago. I think, everybody's expecting college football to look a little different than it normally looks. We can all agree on that. We may have games without fans. We may have rescheduling. We may have states that aren't allowing college football at all. We don't know what it's going to look like, but we do know we are going to have some college football. And I made the point that I think you're going to see, mandatory testing before every game. Probably the week before or 2 weeks before each game or something along those lines. And you might see some key players that test positive that aren't allowed to play in the game. I think that's going to be an interesting little factor in the 2020 season. So by all accounts, you've got the usual suspects at the top of the ladder, with your Alabama and Ohio and Clemson. Probably, I'm sure Notre Dame will be in there somewhere. The usual suspects are going to be up there, but I think that you probably see something along the lines of, the healthier teams making it to the the later rounds, the better bowl games, and possibly maybe somebody who's just lucky enough to stay healthy and has a really decent
Mm-hmm.
football team makes it into the playoffs.
Well, how about this though? Think about like what, and I know this probably wouldn't happen, but you never know. What if like a team like Alabama or an Ohio State or a team like that had such, so many outbreaks that they didn't even play? I mean, and let's say whoever won the national championship this coming year, but what if there's like 4 pretty good programs that didn't play? I mean, is that going to be kind of like, well, the only reason you won was because these teams couldn't play?
I mean, it's completely possible. It's completely possible. I don't think, regardless of what happens, I don't think that there's any reason to put an asterisk by anybody's name. The team that has the best um, infectious disease prevention programs and the best strength and conditioning and the best team on the field is going to win, and I think that's part of college football. Working with what you got.
There'll always be an asterisk beside it from fans' perspectives, though.
Of course.
For every fan base except for the one that wins the Natty.
Yeah, true.
And I got to say, I mean, if Tennessee backs into a playoff or something like that and then loses in the first round, I'm thrilled with that, and I'm not gonna dog the team that wins. There's a lot more that goes into winning a college football national championship than putting the best players on the field and calling the best plays.
It's like a lot of coaches have said they'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week.
Absolutely. All right, let's see what else is going on. All right, Carter. All right, Brandon. We're probably going to dive a little bit into the weeds here. I'm going to disclaimer this. Okay. It was released. I believe Jesse Simonton was the first one to tweet it out this morning. That on Jeremy Pruitt's Zoom press conference, he said that Tennessee is considering wearing black jerseys for the Kentucky game, and that they are considering auctioning those jerseys off, and they are considering donating it to an organization like Black Lives Matter. Now, let me tell you what I did not just say. I did not just say Tennessee is wearing black jerseys against Kentucky. They will be auctioning them off, and they will be giving all of the money to Black Lives Matter. I did not say that, because that's not what Jeremy Pruitt said. What Jeremy Pruitt said was likely reactionary to the conversation that he had just finished having with his players. They all went into a room, they sat down, they were talking about the current landscape, the political landscape of everything that's going on with the George Floyd controversy, Black Lives Matter, protests, riots, things like that. One of the ideas that was kicked around by the players, that was offered up by the players, was that we wear black jerseys and we auction them and donate to a cause like Black Lives Matter. There are 2 very legitimate sides to that argument why they should or should not donate the money to an organization like Black Lives Matter. We are not taking a position on that here on this show. What we are going to say is, regardless of whether or not they donate those funds to Black Lives Matter or another group, what will happen here is recruits all across the country will see that Tennessee is on the forefront of these progressive measures in ending the horrible race relations that we have in the United States right now. We're not going to place blame or point fingers as to whose fault it is that the race relations are so bad, but the recruits will see it. It will get their attention, and they'll be looking at the University of Tennessee whenever it comes time for them to make a decision on where they're going to play college football. Okay? So you guys can argue it out in the comments section. We're not taking a position on that. There are sides of this argument that say there are better organizations than Black Lives Matter that the funds could go to. There are sides of this argument that say there is only one organization that the funds should go to, and that's Black Lives Matter. Okay? However, what we are excited about is that Tennessee is currently undefeated in black jerseys. And they're talking about putting on black jerseys for the 2020 season. So I'm excited that we're all but guaranteeing a W, especially if it's Kentucky. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
Go ahead, Carl.
Well, I'm not going to get into the. First of all, college football and politics should not even be mentioned together at any time. Keep it separate because, you have to. College football needs to be where it doesn't matter what side you're on. It should unite everyone for that one team. Okay. And as many Tennessee games as I've grown up and went to, that I've never seen a problem or ever seen it where certain fans were, fighting because of their political views. I've never seen that. I do remember a time when, like 2004, when George Bush was running for president or running for re-election, and they had like some stickers and stuff like that. But I mean, nothing too bad. But the thing is a lot of people, they're coaches and the coaches and they're going to do whatever the players like. Okay, that's what they're going to do. But at the same time, you also have to keep in mind, you also got to make sure that you make the fans happy too. You make the boosters and the donors happy, because let's be honest, without the fans, without the donors, without the boosters, there isn't going to be any recruits. There isn't going to be, because who pays for all of it? So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to say no more about it. I have my own personal opinion, but I'm going to keep it to myself.
Let's talk about the black jerseys.
I'm a big fan of alternate jerseys for myself. It gets recruiting attention. I mean, look at Oregon for all those years. People may have been swayed by just wearing the shiny helmets,
Right.
So I'm a big fan of alternate jerseys, but like Carter said, politics needs to stay away from college football.
It's an unfortunate fact of life that it is not going to. I mean, politics have been involved in sports since Joe Namath, wore white shoes after Labor Day and put on the fur coat and got flashy, since Gorgeous George started talking trash in the professional wrestling circuit. Muhammad Ali got political. It's an unfortunate thing, because I think that we can all agree that sports is one of those places where we all like to go to get away from all of the garbage that goes on out there in the real world every day. But the players have a voice, and they want that voice to be heard. And I think that Jeremy Pruitt and the staff did the right thing by listening to them and by putting it out there in the media that listen. And I think that the bigger point that anybody should get out of this is not that they're wearing black jerseys and that they're going to donate money to a certain cause, et cetera, et cetera. It's that he set his players down and he said, guys, this is what's going on out there. What are your thoughts? Give me some feedback. He had the wherewithal to sit down and listen to what his players had to say. And he's absolutely entertaining the ideas that they came up with. And I think that shows recruits all across the country that Jeremy Pruitt cares about his players. And so I think that that's the bigger message to take out of this. Tennessee is one of the first programs to have a black player on their team. Tennessee is one of the first programs to have a black quarterback. I mean, Tennessee has always been, the University of Tennessee has always been at the forefront of these progressive measures in regards to race relations, and has always kind of led that front. And so here they are again, stepping out there on a limb. I hate that all the trash that's surrounding it had to happen. No matter what side of the argument you're on, and nobody likes to be in this position. It's an unfortunate position for everybody to be in because everybody's pointing fingers at everybody. But the University of Tennessee comes with it again and holds true to what they've always done in the past, and they're stepping out on a limb and making a decision, or at least entertaining a decision that could have a profound effect throughout college sports. Whether you view that effect as positive or negative or you're indifferent, it's a reality, and I just think that it speaks to what Jeremy Pruitt and his staff are doing for the players. And I guess we'll leave it there. Other than I'm pretty stoked about the black jerseys. I'm not a huge fan of alternate uniforms, but whenever you're doing something like when we wore the black jerseys on Halloween against South Carolina, there's a lot of people out there that like the smoky grays. There's a lot of people out there that hate the smoky grays. I kind of like that they were able to come up with an alternative concept that still held true to the traditions of Tennessee. That being said, I'm kind of glad that the smoky grays are gone and that Tennessee's kind of stepped out of that alternate uniform crowd. But the kids all over the country are going to be looking at this and they're going to be saying, look what Tennessee's doing over there. And that means better recruits. That means an elevated football program. That means greater development for a lot of guys who might not have gotten a chance to develop their personal character and things otherwise. So I'm all for the black jerseys. We'll not get into why they should or shouldn't donate money where they're going to donate the money to. I'm sure that the university will have some policies involved in that as to what they can and can't donate to, and we'll let the guys in the boardrooms make those decisions. But black jerseys for Tennessee, for a special reason to show solidarity and show support for the black community. I'm for it.
I couldn't. I don't. I'm glad we're going to move on from it. The last thing I do want to say is the only thing that kind of worries me is it's such, being a head coach is more than just calling plays. It's more than just, making adjustments, the whole nine. There's a whole lot more to it. And especially at the college level, but it's a tricky thing too, because at the college level, like at Tennessee and SEC, Power 5, you have to you want to do the right thing and you want to make your players happy, but at the same time you have to be careful because you also you don't want to do nothing that's going to make the fans unhappy as well, because you want to keep that fan revenue coming in. But I think Coach Pruitt and administration, they know what they're doing. So hopefully that,
and I know what you're trying to say. It's kind of coming out like it's fans versus players. That's not the case. What Carter's trying to say is that there's a lot of moving parts in a decision like this, and we're in the infancy of this decision, and we're pretty confident that Coach Pruitt, the staff, the university are going to make the right decision on it and do what's best for everybody in terms of the players, the fans, the program, and hopefully this is something that becomes a positive for the program and not a negative. But again, undefeated in black jerseys. Share it around. Tennessee, undefeated in black, and put it out on Twitter, #undefeated in black. Throw some concept pictures up there like what we've got here. Let's rally behind our team. Let's show those young men in orange that we support them. And that's about all the seriousness that we need to have on the show.
Yeah, let's get into the show.
That's more serious than we've been in 19 episodes, all packed in to about 3 minutes. But you can't not mention that Tennessee is going to go back to a black jersey, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. We had to get into it. I know you guys don't want to hear the political junk. That's why we're trying to stay as neutral as possible, and let everybody have their own opinions on it. We all hold our own opinions. We just want to get out there that Tennessee's going to have black jerseys. So there we go.
And hey, you know what? if you look at it this way, there's a lot of other programs right now that are having to do things that are, a lot worse in some people's opinions. So we still can sing Rocky Top.
That's right. The
let's
Gators lost the
Yep.
Gator bait.
Yep.
There's talk.
The
Brandon, I
Texas.
think you said that the Eyes of Texas is now under the periscope or under the microscope.
Yeah, the players at Texas are going to refuse to help recruit, may boycott this, that, and other, but due to innuendos in the song.
I also seen something on Twitter earlier about, same thing actually. Georgia's fight song is now being under, attack or whatever you want to call it.
Glory, glory to old Georgia.
So there might be a lot of changes coming.
It's interesting that one, because you had to sing it on the Wheel of Misfortune, and we found out there's only like 7 words in the whole song. So it's interesting that one's under I'm sure that there's some historical context that I'm not aware of.
I'm sure,
but yeah. So there's a lot of changes coming, guys. But it's 2020. What can you say? All right.
Yeah, like Glader says, let's get to the next segment.
Moving right along to a moment in Vols history. We got a Longhorns fan on the program, Carter.
So that's right. We got a Longhorn fan on here. So we chose the 1951 Cotton Bowl, Tennessee, General Neyland against Texas. We ended up winning this game 20-14. I remember because I was there. No, not really, but. What can you say about General Neyland? The man was a football genius, way ahead of his time, no doubt about that. I've read his journals, but anyway, we ended up getting a late turnover, and Hank Laricella took the winning touchdown, and we ended up winning 20-14. Roll the clip.
All right, here we go. Get ready, boys. Do not adjust the color on your screen. This is in black and white.
In Dallas, Tennessee meets Texas in the Cotton Bowl. And here, with Tennessee's Hank Laricella doing the carrying, is one of football's greatest broken field runs. Watch him dodge. Payne finishes what Laricella started with a lazy pass to John Grubel in the end zone. Tennessee takes an early lead, 7-0. Then Texas takes command. After one touchdown, Ben Tompkins heaves a 34-yard pass to Gib Dawson, and Texas ends the half leading 14-7. Texas leads by a single point, 14-13, when a Tompkins pass is intercepted by Tennessee's Jimmy Hill in the game's dying minutes. Hill runs into Texas territory, and Volunteer hopes stay alive. Now to grab victory from defeat, Tennessee's Laricella passes to Rechichar that puts Tennessee 26 yards nearer the goal. 3 minutes remain. Laricella makes the most of them as his smash sets up a Tennessee Cotton Bowl victory, 20-14.
There we go. I love that. I kind of want to, I really want to finish the rest of the show using that voice. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Picked Off with Josh Griffin and Alex Carter. Special guest, Brandon Ivy, a fan of the Texas Longhorns out of Austin, Texas.
Oh, man, I love when them old announcers, like, I watched something with Steve Sperry go, Steve Sperry. I don't know. But...
I just want to point out that Texas does hold a 2-1 lead in the series. And in 53, they won 16-0.
Let me mute that mic. Hold on, guys. Let me mute that mic. Hold on a second. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
And in 69 was 36-13.
That's right.
Yeah, Texas and Tennessee haven't met a whole lot of times. I think, Alabama just recently scheduled a home-and-home with Ohio State. Huge news, man. That's a massive home-and-home. I think Texas and Tennessee ought to get on the horn. Pruitt and Herman need to hash something out.
And it's so sad because we've never the SEC and Big 12 need more bowl games. Okay, we've got way too many with the Big 10. We've always had way too many, in my opinion. Now we need to branch out a little bit. Even a Pac-12. There's not an SEC Pac-12 bowl game. So yeah, I think we would have probably played Texas a little bit more had we had other chances besides the freaking Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, Carter. Just off topic here. If that Tennessee flag behind you touches the ground, I'm gonna burn you. I'm not gonna burn the flag. I'm gonna burn you. It's falling off. It's falling off back there.
I know, man. I'm gonna Rocky Balboa with this thing, like Rocky 4. Hold on.
There you go.
Put it around me.
There you go. It's a beautiful thing. Listen, but how does it feel? And Brandon, you know how this feels when you wrap that orange all around you. I mean, yours is a little different shade, but you know how it feels when you wrap that orange all around you. It feels all warm and fuzzy.
It does.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There you go.
I feel like a winner right now.
As well you should, sir. All right. So there we go. 1951 Cotton Bowl with a fantastic announcer. Every announcer in the 50s had that same voice.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been the same guy that just did everything back then.
Just voiceover.
But I love it. I love it. As every you remember, even in the 80s as a kid in the elementary school, you would get like health videos and things like that, and it would always have an announcer that kind of had that same tone to his voice. Love it. I love college football for that reason. I love the announcers, the historic radio calls. I mean, if you ever just want to have a good night, take your truck down to the river, turn to YouTube on the radio, and listen to old college football game calls. Some of the best calls in college football history. Drink you a beer. Look at the stars.
That's really easy to do, Josh. Especially when you're living in a van down by the river.
You should. I mean, you could have gotten up and gotten more animated with that.
Well, yeah. I guess I need a tie and a button up.
Will you grow your hair out and look more like Farley?
If I can get the money he made, sure.
Yeah, Farley is classic.
No kidding.
It's a funny guy.
All right, Scott Cawhorn over in the Facebook. We are the real UT. Just saying. What do you think about that, Brandon?
Shots fired.
He just fired one across your bow, buddy. How do you respond?
Who has the rights to it?
That's only because you had a better lawyer in like the 40s, 50s. Better copyright lawyer. Yeah. Hey, you know what's interesting? We were talking about this the other day, a few episodes back, and what's interesting is that Tennessee is still using, or it's come back. The old UT. I guess there was some kind of clause in there about, once it hits a certain age or something like that, they can use it as a throwback logo or something. I guess I guess there's throwback language in the copyrights with it, but yeah, you can go buy Tennessee hats with the U and the T on it.
Well, see, it's funny because I know that Texas had a huge fit. The one lawsuit Tennessee did win was Tennessee's main website is utsports.com, and Texas took UT to court over that because they wanted to name theirs utsports.com. So I don't know. I guess Tennessee won that one.
If you're out there and you live in Texas or you're a Texas fan, I am a native Texan. I was born and raised there, and I moved to Tennessee in 2004 to go to the University of Tennessee, and I just never went home. There is something that all Texans need to understand, and that is that without Tennessee, there would be no Texas.
No Texas.
Yeah. I agree.
And so it took me a little while to swallow that pill when I moved to Tennessee. But you dig into the history, and sure enough, there it is. Slaps you right in the face. And as a Texan,
welcome, Sam Houston.
As a Texan, can't say how much I appreciate the state of Tennessee.
You better be thanking Davy Crockett every night when you go to bed.
Davy Crockett, Sam Houston. Fun fact, my great, I don't know how many greats, uncle is Jim Bowie. And one of my favorite memories as a kid is my grandfather telling me stories about Jim Bowie. And of course, so for my grandfather, it was Jim Bowie's brother, who was a member of our direct family, and then Jim Bowie, great 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 uncle. But yeah, so great friends with Sam Houston, and so a lot of Tennessee roots there, even in my own family in Texas. So pretty cool
there's
stuff.
There's that famous song, "Give me a T for Texas and a T for Tennessee."
There you go. If you've never been to the Alamo and you're a Tennessee fan, go to the Alamo, because about half the names on those plaques are the names of Mexican soldiers or Mexicans who were fighting for Texas, and the other half are Tennessee natives. And then you've got some Scottish and some Irish guys in there sprinkled in. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of history between Tennessee and Texas. All right, Carter. Normally we're going to let you grind your gears, but tonight, I should say, Picked Off After Dark, we're going to let Mr. Brandon grind his gears. Brandon, what you going to grind your gears about?
It really grinds my gears when bandwagon fans know absolutely nothing about the school that they claim to like. My mother-in-law can tell you everything there is to know about the University of Tennessee. She's a true fan. But these people that go, I'm a Bama fan, I'm a Ohio State fan, I'm a Clemson fan. Name me one person that's not a quarterback or a running back, or name me a left tackle. Then you're a fan.
Right. Let me jump into Facebook comments, because I've got people basically jumping up and down, waving their arms here. Let's see. Chris Long is watching. Chris, welcome to the show. We appreciate you dropping in. Matthew Cheek is in here still tagging people. Matthew, we appreciate it, man. He's just tagging people left and right. Christy,
he's trying to win that golden keyboard, by God.
Christy Hardy says, "Go Tigers." She's a big LSU fan and a good friend of mine. Christy, how are you doing this evening? Thank you for watching.
BVD says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead."
Oh, she says the Alamo is awesome.
Yeah. BVD says, "Tell Brandon Texas may have the rights to UT, but Tennessee comes first in alphabetical order. So suck it, runner-uppers."
All right, Brandon, tell us a little bit more about these bandwagon fans, man. I get it. If you don't know who your left tackle is, you're probably not a true fan. But I mean, there's Tennessee fans who are diehard Tennessee. We'll speak on the Tennessee side of things, just to use them as an example. There are Tennessee fans who are diehard Tennessee fans who couldn't name a left tackle just because they're not that into football. I mean, into the meat of football, I should say. They love the orange, they love the tea, they love the atmosphere of the game, they love the tailgating. They love the camaraderie of the fanhood, but maybe they just don't dig into the recruiting and the non-skill players and stuff like that. So what you're saying is, if you're a fan of Alabama, but you were a fan of Tennessee last year and a fan of Ohio State the year before, and you can't name a single player on the team.
Yeah, name me the coach before Nick Saban.
There you go.
That's all I want. That's all I want to do.
There you go. Yeah, a lot of that depends on the age of the fan too. That's something that I've had to swallow as a gentleman who's getting on up there in his years. I'll hit 40 next year in 2021, but
God,
that sometimes these kids can't name old coaches because they weren't alive when they were here.
Good point.
What else grinds you about the bandwagon fans, sir?
Just how they change. They flip flop every year, every 2 years. I know people that around town that they're peeling Tennessee stickers off their car, putting Alabama, then they go to Clemson. Clemson's the hot new one now.
Yeah, so, Clemson's on fire. Yep. Clemson is it's funny because nobody ever used to think of Clemson as an elite program They were always one of those middle of the road Atlantic Coast. Were they Big East at one time?
Who?
Clemson.
Clemson? No,
I think
they
they've
weren't Big
always been
East.
ACC.
They've always been
Yeah.
ACC. But
Virginia Tech and Miami were Big East.
Oh,
for a
that's
long
right.
time.
Yeah. But I mean, you got, nobody ever thought of Clemson as an elite program. Then they win a couple of natties. Now all of a sudden they're an elite program, and they've got fans crawling all over them. But yeah, I mean, it used to be, if Tennessee was hosting Clemson in Neyland, it was not a big deal. If Tennessee scheduled Clemson today, that would be the number one game you would circle on the schedule for that season.
Sure.
So it happens. I get it. If you are in a state like Idaho, it's probably pretty easy to switch up who you're a fan of pretty fairly often. Montana, things like that. Wyoming.
Go Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the one thing that I hate to hear, man, it just makes me want to vomit, is when they say, well, I like Alabama because they're good. I'm like, no shit, they're good. So that's, like, I've talked to Catfish about this, and he thinks that people that are bandwagon fans are not sunshine pumpers, but fair weather. He thinks it speaks on their character,
Well,
I think they're just.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an element of that. Is that they don't like to lose. They don't like to feel that depression that you and maybe they would say about us that we're self-punishers because we're fans of programs like Tennessee and Texas. Of course, Texas, the year that I moved to Tennessee, won a national championship, probably one of the greatest national championship games of all time, by the way. I grew up an Aggie fan, before I moved to the University of Tennessee, and I never really, jumped on the Texas bandwagon or anything like that. But whenever I just moved from Texas to Tennessee, and then Texas shows up in the national championship game against the USC. I mean, you got to root against the California team. There's no getting around that as a Southerner.
Gosh,
But,
I knew there was something off about you. I knew it.
Hey, listen, I grew up just south of College Station. I mean, it was closer for me to get to College Station than it was to Austin. And
Yeah,
and and I can tell by all the choices that you made for the whack ass tradition and the dumpster fire program of the show and all that stuff that you've got that bad Texas A&M blood, Texas A&M Texas rivalry blood pumping in your burnt orange veins, but but let's be real here. Texas is happy to get any team into the national. If Baylor showed up in a national championship game, if Texas Tech showed up in a national championship game, the whole state's gonna rally around them.
No, of course, yeah.
And they're gonna get pumped up and hope that another national championship's coming back to Texas. And that's not to say that they're fair weather or they're wishy washy or anything like that. That's just how important football is in the state of Texas. It is a way of life, it is a culture down there. Similar to the SEC, but I would say almost a little more obsessive when it comes to the fanhood and things are, down here in the Southeast, we schedule weddings and baby funerals. That sounds horrible. Baby showers, funerals, and things.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Things
I got no part of that.
those kinds of things around college football. But
So much for the serious thing.
there's college football themed weddings in Texas. It's a whole. You have to understand. You have to go to a high school football game on Friday night in the state of Texas somewhere and just understand what's going on. They have high school stadiums that dwarf some college team stadiums. So
Yeah.
so that's where that stuff comes from. But yeah, I mean, that was awesome watching Texas win that national championship, especially over USC, because USC was such a powerhouse back then, and Texas finally stuffed them, sent them packing, and they haven't been the same since.
Glittergator says he's just waiting for the top 5.
It's all right, Glitter. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, sir. All right. Anything else on your mind, Brandon? You want to grind your gears about? Is that about do it?
We can move on.
Well, next up in the show, what do y'all want to do now that Glittergator's trying to control what we're doing here on the show? Do we want to do Debate Club first, or do we want to do the top 5?
Let's give them the top.
All right, let's
five.
give the
He's
fans
pretty
what they
loyal.
want. Top 5 coming up. Here it is. Top 5 college football. No, is it top 5? What are we doing? Top 5 college football programs, or
No,
that's
we're doing
Debate Club.
top 5 SEC
Top 5
games.
SEC games of 2020.
Me and you were doing that, and then Brandon is doing the top 5 national games or games, nationally.
Okay. All right, you want to kick it off with your number 5, Carter?
Might as well. Number 5, I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going to say that the big game for I think Tennessee versus Georgia. It's in November. Maybe it may depend on who wins the SEC East. You never know. I'm not saying that we're going to win the East, but it's possible. And I think it'll be a big game, and it's going to be interesting to see how we play against Georgia in late November.
Yeah, that's definitely it was definitely on my radar. Although I've only got one Tennessee game in my top 5, and it is not Georgia. But my number 5 is going to be LSU Florida.
Okay.
I think that LSU is coming off a national championship, which means they're going to be competing for another one. They're going to be trying to get that back to back. A lot of the same talent. Of course, they lost Burrow. They lost some key wide receivers, but I think that they're going to be gunning for another. This is what you get for having doing the show outside, man. Swatting bugs away. But no, I mean, I think they're going to be shooting for another national championship, and they've got to get through Florida to do it. And historically, LSU has had a lot of trouble with Florida, so I think that that's probably one of the key games in the SEC this year. Brandon, what's number 5 on your list, sir?
Number 5 on my list would be Ohio State at Oregon.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
If they get to play it.
Yeah.
If we get to play it.
Yeah. Now that's as simple as moving the game from Eugene over to Columbus.
Good point.
I mean, Oregon may say no mass gatherings, but then they can't stop the school from going to Columbus.
Right.
That's true.
So I think
it's actually in Eugene.
Right. But I'm just saying it's as simple as rescheduling or changing the venue.
Oh, yeah.
If they're in fear that the game's not going to get played, I'll bet you they go to Columbus before they move the game to Columbus and do a ticket split or something like that. There you go. Go to Disney.
Maybe they should just go to Disney World like everybody else.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 4. My number 4 game in the SEC, I'm going to say I just don't think – I don't know. I don't believe the LSU is going to be the same this coming up season. So I'm going to say Alabama LSU, number 4. I don't think it'll be – I mean, I think it'll still be a big game. It always is. That's just how it'll be. But it will not be as relevant as last year.
So number 4 for me, I'm going to say this is where Tennessee comes in, and it's because of all the talk that Florida's a competitor for the East. They're going to have to get through Tennessee to do it, and that game's always early in the season. So I think that that's a very important game in the SEC in terms of who wins the East. If Tennessee can manage to upset Florida, I think it shakes a lot of things up in the East, and we get a different looking SEC championship game. So I'm saying number 4, Tennessee, Florida.
Fair enough.
My number 4 would be Texas at LSU, rematch from last year, the home and home.
Yeah, shoring up the home and home there. Texas thought they had a pretty good shot last year, but they didn't know about the freight train that they were running into. You know.
Hey, we only lost by 7, so
No, I
we
get it. I get it. They played it. They played a pretty good ball game, but LSU. Nobody knew the monster that LSU was at that time. And
nobody had a clue.
after that Texas game, boy, they hit the ground and they didn't stop all the way to the national championship.
Exactly.
God.
All right, Carter, number 3.
Number 3, SEC. I'm going to go ahead and put this at number 3. I think it's going to be a really big game. I'm going to say Auburn and Georgia. I think Auburn is. I think Auburn's probably going to finish second in the West this year, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Let's see here. What number are we on?
3.
Number 3. Number 3 for me is going to be Alabama LSU. That's where I'm putting Alabama LSU. Again, Alabama, going to do Alabama things, and LSU they got to try to repeat. So that should be a nice little clash of the Titans there.
Sure.
My number 3 nationally, I got the same thing, Alabama and LSU.
Nice. Number 2. I think this is going to be a very big game. And geez, man, I can't believe I've put this team in here this many times now thinking, but damn, I should have rethought this. But I'm going to say the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, Georgia, Florida. Both teams are getting a lot of love for winning the East this year. Georgia, rightfully so. But I think Florida, a lot of people think Florida is going to win the East this year. And I think that game could possibly determine that.
Good point, sir. Number 2 for me, I think this will probably be on top of your list, Carter, and it may even be on your list somewhere, Brandon. But Alabama, Georgia, early in the season. By all accounts, the winner of that game should be the best team in the SEC. And I think that's going to be a really good telltale game for what the SEC is going to shape up to look like.
What game was it again?
Alabama, Georgia.
That's your number 2?
That's my number 2. Just wait till we get to my number 1. You will fully agree. If you disagree with my number 1 game,
okay.
I'll be shocked.
Okay.
My number 2 nationally will be Clemson at Notre Dame.
Oh, that is definitely going to be
even as overrated as people think Notre Dame always is. That would be a good test for both.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see Clemson actually schedule somebody, somebody outside the ACC that's got some clout, and it'll be an interesting game for sure. So that's a good one.
My number 1, I think me and Brandon have the same number 1, Georgia, Bama. I think that's going to be obviously that's got to be the biggest cross-divisional game of the year in the SEC for sure, and it's possibly one of the biggest games nationally. Georgia's got to go to Bama. They haven't really done too well playing Bama the last how many ever times. So we'll see what happens. I'm not really buying into their quarterback yet, Jamie Newman. I know he's at Wake Forest, but yeah, I'm not buying into him yet. But we'll see what happens.
All right, my number 1, Brandon. Is your number 1 the same as Carter's?
No, I had Georgia State versus Troy. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's Georgia at Alabama. I think they're going to split. If Georgia can win the East, I think whoever wins this game, the other one, because it's always hard to beat the same team twice. So
right. Yeah, I think in terms of how the SEC is going to shape up, what the national championship landscape is going to look like, that Alabama-Georgia game is going to be the game of the year for sure when it comes to.
Can I guess yours, Josh?
I'll let you take a shot at it.
You're going to say the Egg Bowl.
Number 1, the Egg Bowl. Listen, man.
Touche.
If for nothing else other than the entertainment value and the post-game press conferences, the press conferences that are going to lead up to the game, Lane Kiffin versus Mike Leach, the Pirate himself. That is going to be. I have never been so excited about Mississippi football as I am right now, as I am leading into this 2020 season. That game is going to be it's going to be a media circus. It's going to be a lot of trash talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lights out shootout. There's no, like, if this game goes like 17-10 or something like that, I will literally eat my own foot. There's no way it happens. It's going to be a shootout. It's probably going to be the highest scoring game in all of college football that season.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be just jam packed with entertainment.
BVD says his top 5 SEC games are Vols versus UK, Vols versus South Carolina, Vols versus Florida, Vols versus Georgia, Vols versus Bama.
Well, that's a pretty damn good top 5.
Yeah, no complaints there. All right, and that does it for our top 5 segment. Good one, man. I enjoyed that one. For those of you who are wondering what those loud noises coming through Carter's mic are, he's fighting off an army of mosquitoes over there.
It's not. I don't know what they are, dude, but they're driving me absolutely. This is the worst idea. I swear.
Normally Carter does the show in a room in his house where he's got Tennessee stuff. It's a beautiful background. He's got Tennessee pennants and flags and stuff plastered all over the walls. It's nice and calm and quiet in there. And right before we decided to go live, Carter's like, "You think I should do the show outside?" And I was like, I guess if you want to, there's no reason why you can't. I think I'm going to do the show outside. And now he's regretting it.
I so am. I mean, I've doused myself in Cutter here. But like, these aren't mosquitoes, man. It's just every damn bug in West Tennessee is over here right now because of this stupid light. But if I cut it out, you won't be able to see me. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done that, man. I stirred them all up now. Damn.
All right. While Carter's involved in an insect dogfight over there, let's move on to our whack ass tradition, hand selected by Mr. Brandon Ivy D4 himself. Brandon, you want to set this one up, buddy?
The Elephant Walk.
The Elephant Walk. Tell us a little bit about the Elephant Walk. What it is, where it comes from.
It comes from Texas A&M, of course. I pretty much say their whole program is a whack-ass tradition.
Hey, we hadn't gotten there yet, but I've got it on my list. When we get to the whack-ass traditions, that Texas A&M's fight song, it just shows how obsessed they are with beating Texas. You know, their entire fight song's built around written about the University of Texas.
Oh yeah, but the Elephant Walk is where alumni and graduating seniors walk together in unity to show loyalty to Texas A&M.
Okay, we got a little video. It was a nice young lady here from the University of Texas A&M that's going to tell us about the Elephant Walk.
Hi, my name is Claire Wimberly, and I am the class of 2017 at Texas A&M. I'm the sophomore class president here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Elephant Walk. So Elephant Walk started in 1925. 4 freshmen in the band were walking around the field playing the Death March after the Aggies were doing really bad in a game. So they really wanted to pump everybody up, but also kind of make a joke about it. 4 years later, when they were seniors, they decided to relive their memories and do the exact same thing. So Elephant Walk was born. Elephant Walk is a way for seniors to just just really reminisce on their time here at Texas A&M, go to prominent spots around campus, and really relive those memories. So the walks happen at 9:15 and 9:16 at night, and they walk around campus and they hit 6 prominent spots, and we have speakers, and then it all leads into Midnight Yell, where the class gift for the class of 2015 this year will be announced. We do bring elephants here to campus the day of. We have 3 here this year, and they're a huge hit. It's a really big success. We sell t-shirts during the day, have food and performers, and it's a really good time for everyone.
There you go. Brandon?
Yes, sir.
Can you see Carter's video right now?
Yeah, I can.
I created a mosquito tent.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Carter, you never cease to bring the entertainment, man. All right. So there's the elephant walk. Brandon, with the whack-ass tradition. Is that all you got to say about it, sir? Anything else you want to add?
That's about all I got to say about it. This says it all.
All right. So then moving right along into General Nealon's 7 memes. Brandon, I think you'll appreciate this, especially when we get towards the end here. It's a little segment. Well, you're an avid watcher of the show, so you know what the 7 memes are.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. We're going to start it off with Auburn. Wait, so are we Tigers or Eagles or Plainsmen? I don't understand. Auburn fans, pick a mascot. You are 33% worse than. Well, I guess no, they're right there with Ole Miss, because Ole Miss had 3 mascots too, didn't they? They had the Bear and the Shark and Johnny Reb. All right, number 6, General Nealon's 7 memes. Do you like jalapenos? Because I'm going to be jalapeno pants tonight. That has absolutely nothing to do with college football, but as I was scouring the internet for memes, I came across it, and I had to add it. I had to. You can't not. That's beautiful. All right. Injuries. Leave Dan Mullen alone. You guys remember the Britney
Leave
Spears guy?
Britney alone. Seriously, leave me alone.
I think people should leave Dan Mullen's wife alone.
She needs to leave people alone. It's kind of the other way around. All right, and the SEC network, guys. The only job opportunities Bama quarterbacks have after they go through the draft and don't get drafted.
That's very true.
It's true. She sounds hideous. Well, she's a Longhorn fan.
Ooh.
That's my first little jab at the Longhorns there.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the Texas Longhorns looking good tonight. The legend Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Gotta love Stevie. And this combines so many of my favorite things. College football, King of the Hill, and razzing the Longhorns. How in the hell did the Sooners beat us every time? It's all in honor of you, Mr. D4, Mr. Brandon Ivy.
I'll take it.
There you go. That's what we do here on Picked Off, man. If you come here on the show as a fan of another team other than the mighty Tennessee Volunteers, we're going to hammer you a little bit.
No, it's okay.
All right. And then last but not least, well, of course, we're going to close out the show with our salute to the ladies of the SEC. Not the Big 12, the SEC. But, yeah, the dumpster fire of the day. Brandon got to pick the dumpster fire of the day, so does anybody want to take a guess in the comments as to what it is? Wait, you know what, Carter, you've been slacking on your watching the YouTube comments because we don't have a golden keyboard handed out yet.
Yeah, don't worry.
You've got one?
I've been watching.
You've got one? All right.
Well, do you want me to go ahead and pick it out now?
No. If you've got something in mind, we'll save it for the end of the show before we go to the salute.
Okay.
Dumpster fire of the day, Brandon. Tell us who it is.
Texas A&M.
And why are the infamous Aggies of College Station, Texas, our dumpster fire of the day?
Well, I just look forward to Jimbo Fisher destroying their program like he did Florida State. So, since joining the SEC, they finished 5th, 7th, 9th, 8th, 6th, 2nd, and 7th. If that's not a dumpster fire, I don't know what it is.
The second, was that Johnny Manziel?
No, that was actually the year before last.
Oh, okay. So that's the reasoning, huh? They hadn't managed to get to atop the SEC.
And they're just I don't know. It's just an annoying place.
Does Texas A&M have any national championships? I know that they have claimed national championships because they're plastered on the walls at Kyle Field.
They won one under Bear Bryant.
That's right. You're right.
In the 1950s.
Yeah.
There's actually a movie about it. It's called The Junction.
Right. Yeah. So other than that, that's their only outright
Ever.
Yeah. At least they got one. Could be worse. It could be Vandy.
We can say if we're counting modern era.
Yeah, sure, Vandy's probably got like a 1919 in there somewhere before they had face masks and helmets, and it was basically flag football, and it would have been a claimed national title and not an actual voted on national title or computer composite or playoff. But yeah, could be Mississippi State, who's never won a national championship in any team sport in the history of their university.
Wow.
Carter, you're supposed to be the history guy here.
I am the history guy, but I don't know jack shit about Texas A&M history.
Guys, you got it hasn't changed. If you want, look at that video. Look at Carter. It's like a Tennessee clad cousin it. All right, Carter. For the boys that got in the comments section and churned it out, who wins the golden keyboard tonight?
Oh man, okay. So I have looked all through the comments, and I am really trying to be fair. You know how we do it. The winners usually see there's something funny, clever. So you know what? I don't even want to give it to this person, but he had the best comment, and I'm gonna have to give it to Big Ball Daddy, man. He had the funniest one. So Big Ball Daddy wins it tonight, and I will read you the comment and why he won real quick. Well, first of all, he had the tell Brandon Texas may have the rights to UT, but Tennessee comes first in alphabetical order. Suck it, runner-uppers. But then there's more. Then Glittergator was bragging how he's won 2 in a row. And then BVD says, "Congrats, Glitter. You're the lifetime winner of the BVD TV Golden FU Award."
All right. So BVD it is.
I hate to do I hate to do it.
Listen, I don't like giving BVD anything for free.
No.
You know he's going to pawn it. Whatever it is.
Oh.
Shots fired.
Yep, and he's going to go down and buy a copy of the It's Football Time in Tennessee magazine with the proceeds, probably a case of Natty Lights or Pabst Blue Ribbon, some beef jerky, and some Skol.
Yeah, that's not BVD at all.
No. I love BVD. He knows it's all in good fun. All right. Anything else that he said that's clever? Because I'm sure he had quite a few golden nuggets in there.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few.
Some that you can't
let's
read
see.
on the air.
Well, when we were showing the elephant walk, he said, "Wonder if clean up elephant shit is as popular." So
Litigator says BVD paid the refs.
you know what?
That's true.
You know what?
He did.
You know what? I've BVD. I know you'll be okay with this, but I'm going to take the golden keyboard. I'm going to take it away from BVD. Actually, I'm going to make it a tie tonight.
Okay.
BVD has won it, and the other winner, because I literally just didn't see this daggum. I did not see it, and I want to make sure I'm being fair. The other winner is Ricky Williams, because he said A&M out. He said A&M outsmarted Texas as far as getting in the SEC. Texas wishes they could, but then they won't be the big fish in this little pond. They would be a fish in a pond with other big fish.
If Texas, listen, that's a good. We also didn't do debate club. We need to go back and do debate club. But real quick, if Texas was in,
No, I'm sorry, Josh, that wasn't the comment. Here's the comment. He said Texas A&M built a zoo. They put a fence around the whole campus. That was the one. I just couldn't find it again. I was like, damn it, I can't remember what it was. But Ricky Williams and BVD. BVD, you've got plenty of prizes and trinkets. We're going to give this one to Ricky. So,
if Texas is in the SEC right now, where are they? Middle of the road? Are they top tier? Are they hanging around the bottom? What's Texas doing?
this dude, what is that?
What do you guys think?
If Texas is in the SEC, is what you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would help them recruiting wise, like it did with A&M. Because I think when A&M joined the SEC, their recruiting just shot. Like, it helped them out tremendously. And I think it would have done the exact same thing to Texas. I think it would still do it would help Texas out.
This is hilarious.
Good Lord, dude.
It's called Picked Off After Dark, man. It's you got to expect the bugs are going to be out.
Dude, this thing is annoying me. It keeps hitting me in the face and stuff. But yeah, Texas. I think it would help Texas, but I don't know if it would make them as. I don't think they'd be like Bama. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they would be better than what they are now for sure.
I always thought Texas A&M was going to do better with the pipeline from Texas being in the SEC.
Dude, me too. They have severely underperformed for what they should be doing. You're absolutely right. I thought they were going to take recruits away from Texas because they were coming to the SEC. I thought that they would own the pipeline in the state and that they would elevate to the top really, really quick. But I have been absolutely just that theory, that logic has been obliterated.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I got to think that Texas is going to be in the upper middle somewhere right now if they're in the SEC. I think they're probably, if you put them in the East, they're probably second or third behind Georgia and Florida right now. If you put them in the West, maybe they're hanging around that Auburn type of era. Some years they're doing really well. Some years they're below Bama and LSU. I mean, I think that's kind of what you're looking at.
I can agree with that. I agree with that.
And that's just right now. Now, give Texas, half a decade in the SEC. Carter, you might be right. They might out recruit a bunch of people because they got unlimited resources over there.
Oh,
unlimited.
Yeah.
That could be a monster. But yep. So Carter, since you're fighting off bats and bugs and all that stuff, we'll save debate club for the next episode. We've already gone,
I do appreciate that.
We've already gone an hour and a half. We'll roll it on into our salute to the ladies of the SEC, and we'll close her out. Congratulations to Ricky Williams, and thank you to everybody in the comments section. Special thank you to our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House. Guys, go down there on game days, get yourself some free sweet tea. Tell them that the Volunteer Roadshow sent you. Hound Dogs of Knoxville. Visit them at hdknoxville.com. Pick yourself up some gear. Check this out. Check this out. Hold on. Somebody gave this to me today. Boom. Hound Dogs gift card. I'll be going down there this week, picking up some new gear.
Hell yeah. Also, don't forget, Shelter Insurance, our other sponsor. You can contact our boy, the host of this show right here, Josh Griffin. He can hook you up with life insurance, any kind of insurance you need. Trust me. Talk to Josh and get your ass buried for free.
Not for free. I mean, you got to pay a premium. But yeah, I mean, Carter. We took care of all the Carter stuff not too long ago. So yeah, I mean, give me a call, 865-671-6451. I'll be happy to give you a quote on anything you think you need insured, talk about your coverages, those kinds of things. It's always weird. Carter does this thing where he tries to pump me up because I tell him at the beginning of the show it's weird promoting myself. But I did, I spent company money on the show and bought myself a little bit of advertising time. So, guys, make it pay off for me. That'd be great. If somebody would give me a call, let me give them some quotes. I'd appreciate it. Also, special thanks to Brandon for dropping in, D4. We look forward to having you back on, man. It was fun. I appreciate it.
It was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all having me on.
So we'll be in touch after tonight, and we'll schedule you back on here in the near future, especially right before college football starts up.
Oh, yeah.
And then again, thank you to you guys in the comments. We couldn't do it without you. Go visit the sponsors, show them some love, tell them the Volunteer Roadshow sent you. You get discounts at Hound Dogs, 10%. You get free sweet tea at Tennessee Tap House. I can't give you anything for free, but you can come by my office and we'll talk about football. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Go Big Orange. And we're going to close her out with a salute to the ladies of the SEC.
We'll holla.
See you.